Welcome to the Fifth Wheel Podcast, virtually.
Hello.
This is weird. I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney.
and we're
This is
here
the fifth.
on,
Yeah, it's still fifth wheel. We're just not in the same room with one another.
which is illegal.
It feels illegal, and that you're not, 9 hours away now, but you are.
It's great. It's fantastic. How was your first week in Arkansas?
Twas fantastic.
Fantastic. Tell me more.
Um, I obviously miss you. But well, same job, different office, same company. I love it. The people are great. There is an F1 fan. We're hoping to, I mean, I went from an office of like 80 people to 20 if you count the interns. Which I mean, they're people, but anyways, they're in.
We just don't count the interns as people.
No, they definitely count.
That's not what you
Our
said.
interns are cool. Anyways, but yeah, so because I have a couple of the Lego F1 cars, and so I unpacked those on my first day and put them up on my new little my space, and I think it was because I started it last Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I was talking with one of the guys. He's in the office like right across from where I sit, and then we started. He goes, "I noticed your F1 cars," and I was like, "Did you?" And so he is a Williams fan, which I said, all right,
I respect it.
I respect it. I told him, Williams they're honestly probably my second favorite team. I mean, you can't, as we've mentioned, you can't meet Alex Albon out of Home Depot in Pflugerville and not be a Williams fan, or at least an Alex Albon fan.
I would totally agree with that.
It's like what I did with Matt that was in the San Antonio office. It's like after every race, we chit chat about it. And the guy in my office, he goes, "Yeah, I won't lie." He goes, "Fell asleep for most of it."
Yeah, it wasn't the most interesting race that we've had.
But I still was way more entertained than what was it, Japan? That was the world's most the race that could have been an email
Yeah, I'll admit that it was definitely more entertaining than Japan,
because
but like
there
not much.
there were enough things that happened that either I was yapping or just giggling about it. I mean, there were some good radio messages, some unfortunate rodent incidents, and
Mhm.
other on track incidents, which have no doubt that we will get into.
Yeah. Well,
But I guess short story long, I had a great first week in my new office, but I obviously miss you. And here we are. It's still podcast time.
it is. Wait, can you? This is
You're
where
on the
you
other
are.
side of my screen.
Well, I'm recording, so you do it this way. Almost. Too far. Too far. Go back. No more.
No, that's just not going to work right now.
Fine. You just don't love me. It's great.
You're right. I don't. I actually hate you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, going into this race, I think I just thought it'd be a bit more entertaining because so much happened before the race that intrigued me
Right.
and seemed exciting. Um, so naturally I was like, this race is gonna be crazy. And then it wasn't, so I think that's also why I was like, eh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and then you had, well, then especially with, Red Bull gives you Rage Max last week. And spoiler alert, George qualifies pole. Max is P2. He had every opportunity to rage, get that last penalty point, get him a race ban so he could take another week off. I mean, the all of the dominoes were lined up and he just
Oh,
refused to dump it.
that was weird. I was trying to share this because it makes sense. There we go. This is what I was thinking would happen. I was like,
Yeah.
and when he pulled up, I'm not going to jump into the race just yet, but like, spoiler alert, when they pulled up after formation lap, Max was literally diagonal in his grid box pointed at George.
He
I
was
was like,
pulling, what was it, like Abu Dhabi 21? or whatever race it was where it was either him or Lewis like legit turned in. Like,
Yes.
it not that I wanted Max to, just full send drive consciously into someone again, but
Again is the key word.
right. But again, it would have been hilarious.
It would have been really funny, and
But
I hate to admit, but I was low key hoping for it too.
yeah, but no, my other just the wackadoodle thing that happened in qualifying, um, Alex Albon's engine cover just blew off of his car.
Okay, I saw a TikTok of that, having not watched qualifying yet. And it was like the TikTok sound, and I'm gonna go like this for when it explodes. So he's just driving, it's like let go.
Yes. Yes. It's like in Cars 2 when they had the little electromagnetic camera and they pointed at the cars and then they blow up. It's like he got blown up by some camera that just said, "No engine cover for you. Bye-bye."
It was the ghost of like Canada Grand Prix past or
What
something.
is it about pieces of Alex Albon's car just flying off? Last year it was his mirror. Now it's the engine cover. I don't know. It felt illegal to see the inside of the F1 car like that. Like I don't feel like I was supposed to see that.
It's like that. It's common knowledge, but like it's not something that we really see. So it did feel a little
Right?
almost
Yeah.
like, oh, I like, sorry, private moment there. You know,
Yeah. Well, and then the crazy thing was they I guess have extras of those and put another one on and he made it to Q3.
weird.
I'm like, "All right,
It is
Alex."
what it is. One
Yeah.
pre-race thing that made me laugh, and I'm pretty sure he was talking about this, like that incident.
Yeah.
It was the epitome of, you know, that video of that kid that's like, you ever have a dream when you and where he starts just talking and there's nothing there's no words being
No.
said, and he goes like,
No.
and then he goes like, it's like a shark. And then the interviewer, I guess, starts playing into it, like, yeah, okay, like a shark, and then Albon looks at him like he's the crazy one. I'm
It
like,
was
what drugs was
so
he
funny.
on?
It
Like,
was so funny.
and he had that like that spaced out look in his eye, like that a kid would have explaining something like that. Like he
Yes.
was so focused, but
It
also
quite
not like,
literally was the did you ever have a dream where you and then you and when and then and what
yeah,
and it
that's
was
exactly
just
what it was.
yeah, you ever have a sentence where you don't know where it's going and you hope it finds itself along the way? That was Alex Albon in his post qualifying interview.
And it did not find its way.
It
He
did
seemed
not.
confused. He seemed more confused when it was over than when it began.
Yeah, his words did not win that day.
No,
Um,
not big words like mine. I have great big words.
you're right. You're right. But no, I mean qualifying other than that, I mean we lost I think Yuki got knocked out in Q1 again or he barely made it to Q2.
Yeah,
Um, what else happened? Carlos didn't make it to Q3 or Q2.
yeah.
Charles was on what I thought was a really good lap. I still don't know what happened to him, but he aborted the lap and ended up qualifying like sixth or seventh.
Yeah.
Um, I missed what happened,
Yeah.
but
I've got a couple other things that happened before the race that were interesting because I didn't end up watching qualifying except for like just the bits and pieces of it. Um, and so we're seeing like things happen in qualifying. People are kind of struggle with this track sometimes,
mhm.
and we have, you know, that one. I love women in motorsport except for Danica Patrick.
I know
So
where this is
she,
going.
yeah, so she's talking, and
Uh huh.
she's just, I'm gonna just say that again, she was just talking, I think, to fill the space.
That's all she does.
That's all she does. And so she was saying, yeah, well, I mean, like, it's a pretty easy track and blah, 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 blah. This track is known for being, like, drivers in the wall. Like, that's
Yes.
what
What is
it's
it?
known for.
They literally have a wall on one of the corners called the Wall of Champions.
The
And
wall.
not because it's a good thing, because it is notorious for literal like F1 champions putting it in the wall at that point.
Yep.
And I think this was the whole weekend. Sky Sports, it was like Nico Rosberg, Danica Patrick, and then I can't remember who I might have been Jensen Button. Nonetheless, Nico Rosberg
He
hates
was
that
not having
woman.
it.
He hates her.
He
I
does.
mean, anytime she opened her mouth, th- that man does not control his face. I mean, you knew what he was thinking. I his face was loud.
Yeah, it was his face was he's the people's princess truly with that. Like I think a lot of people
Yes.
try and albeit fail to hide their reactions to Danica Patrick, but like at this man,
Him and Jensen Button don't. Jensen does a little bit better. Nico Rosberg, you know he hates that woman.
yeah. And there was like she also had a moment kind of like Alex but in a worse way where she was trying to sound like race smart, but I
What?
pulled it up because I messaged you this. I said, she goes, the exiting is all about where you start. And then so that's what she said. And I go, the exiting is all about where you start. Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, for real. And it's like I'm telling you, she tries to have these Will Buxton-esque quotes, and they don't work
No, I
because
think,
none
here's the
of the
difference. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
well, I was like, none of the rest of what she says sounds intelligent about racing,
No, and
and
I think
it's
the difference between her and Will Buxton specifically, we would always like make fun of Will Buxton because he would say,
yes,
like in an F1 race you're driving, things like that. But like in reality, they were things that we as fans knew, and they were for the point of like educating the new viewer
yes,
on how it worked. Whereas
yes,
Danica, instead of dumbing it down, she makes it too complex, and then it's like more stupid because it doesn't make sense. It's like she's trying to sound
yeah.
smarter about F1, and I understand she's a race car driver. I get it. Her tools are also her hands and her feet.
But
But
she was
girl,
never a Formula One driver, and she talks like she was.
yeah, and like I get it, and I'm sure that she has been invalidated a million thousand trillion times
Right.
being a woman in motorsport, right? However, it's just like you said, she talks about F1 as if she has driven that car, and it's different. I mean, it's probably one of the biggest differences in motorsport possible. It's like jumping
Yes.
from it's like jumping from the US to like China.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's like different.
Well, and she says things that are wrong. How are you going to call Canada an easy track when you have never driven in that race in a Formula 1 car?
No, exactly.
Things don't get named in F1 if there isn't a valid reason for it. You don't get a wall of champions that champions are notorious for crashing into if it's an easy track. Like,
Right.
be so for real, girl.
No,
Because
it's
yeah, I hope that Sky Sports, I mean, because they have to see it. They have to see that nobody enjoys her commentary.
no, and I think she must be under contract. Like she must have signed like a 2 or 3 year
I don't know.
thing
I'm just
because
glad we didn't have her on Drive to Survive this last year because when she showed up on what was it, the 2 seasons ago, I mean, talk about jump scare.
I mean, I was excited at first just because I didn't know a ton about her. And I was like, oh, cool, like a woman in motorsport. This is exciting. It's kind of reminding me of like when Claire Williams was one of the
Right.
people in the early seasons. I was like, yes, more women. We need more women. And then she just started saying things. I think genuinely, I do think one of the first things that she talked about was as a driver, your tools are your hands and your feet, because that was when Danny Rick, or not Danny Rick, or was that Lance that had his injury? But basically, like episode one, I was like, okay. And then I learned about her as a person. I was like, oh no, you're done. You're gone. Yeah. Anyways, there was another funny little pre-race thing that I wanted to mention. Did you happen to see the video from the 24 Hours of Le Mans with I don't even know the driver's name and it makes me so mad, but he like there's a crash, there's an incident between two drivers. It's literally like a red and a blue. Red
Yes.
driver, blue driver. Red car gets out. He looks frustrated. I'm gonna demonstrate what he did here. So let's pretend that my green chair right here is blue car. This is what red car driver did once he got out.
Hmm. she's beating up the chair because that is what angry driver did to other driver car.
I'm out of breath from that. I really need to work out. Um, I put a lot of fury into that. I don't know if it was obvious,
No,
but
it was so funny. That clip was very quickly circulating the internet. I was dying laughing.
it was so good. And like all the stewards having to like pull him back, and then didn't one of them get like kicked in the face or something? I don't
I
know.
don't
It was
know.
messy. It was bad, but that was. I'm out of breath, really. That was the second to last pre-race thing I had, and then there was one more thing. Basically, the pre-race interview with Max, George, and Oscar after qualifying. And they asked Max, they're like, "Hey, so you know you're only 1 point away from a race ban, blah blah blah." And he goes, "I don't need to hear it again. It's really pissing me off." And then it cuts to George, and he's like, just like
I
he's.
didn't see that.
You didn't see this? Oh my god! So
No.
yeah, okay, here I think I have the quote. But it goes, they're asking Max, so you only have like 1 point to a race ban. Like, how are you feeling going into this week? And Max picks up the mic like this. He goes like, "It's really. I don't need to hear it again. It's really pissing me off." And then so he's starting his rant. It pans to Russell, and he's like looking at Max, and then he goes, like he's living his fantasy right now. Like he is reveling in the realization that everyone is like recognizing that Max is kind of going cuckoo, right?
I
And so
mean, yeah.
I don't need to hear it again. It's really pissing me off. Verstappen continued, "I mean, you all speaking about it on Thursday, such a waste of time. It's very childish, so that's why I also don't want to say too much because it's really annoying, this world that we live in." Like, genuinely sounding like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a conspiracy theorist. Like I can't even get into like this world we live in. Like y'all are all conspiring against me, as if he didn't intentionally hit George with his car last week. Like we can't. He
Red Bull
can't.
gives you rage, man.
Red Bull gives you rage. Oh man, it's
I
crazy.
feel
I'll
like
have to see
I need a shirt with that and just a picture of Max crashing out. Just Red
there's
Bull
so
gives you
many.
rage.
Which one would you pick? Which picture?
Yes.
Okay. You could do like a collage. Like, wait, oh my god, what if it was like an Eras Tour t-shirt with all of them around? And it says Red Bull gives you rage, and oh my god.
Oh, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
In July? Christmas in July?
I
Is
don't
that
know
fair?
if I have enough time to pull that together before. Maybe.
That's fair.
Maybe.
Well,
But
that
yeah,
was.
no, I can't believe I didn't see that interview clip. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, we have to talk about it after this. I also pulled up Alex Albon's. You ever have a dream where you let me see.
There's a lake in the middle of the track, and there was a lot of swirling going on. And I was surprised. I've never seen that much. As if there was a lot of fish in one area, but so much swirling that bigger than a fish. Okay. Could have been Jaws. Right.
Jaws.
Operation. Yeah. This weekend. Jaws. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Jaws, I'm pretty sure it's like the 20th. No, maybe not 20th. 40th. I don't know. It's some anniversary number for Jaws. In one of the parks in town is playing Jaws tomorrow, so I'm going with Matt and Walter.
That's fun.
That's completely well. Actually, no. It is F1 related because Alex Albon mentioned Jaws.
Is 100%. That's an F1 outing for sure.
Circle
Oh,
back.
I wanted to mention with the Le Mans thing, the only video I've seen of it, and I've seen it like 4 times, but it's always been with the same sound. Can I play that sound for you? Did it come across like okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you
Not that nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. That literally might be my new favorite TikTok audio because I'm just walking around my house. Nothing beats a Jet2
It's a
holiday.
Jet2 holiday.
You
And
could
right
save
now,
up to
you can
£50
50
per
pounds.
person. That's £200 for a family of 4.
Oh my gosh. Well, someone before, it might have been before or after I saw that TikTok, but someone had posted that sound. They were just like dancing to it.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, no, it wasn't that sound. It was the song itself, and it was like, "Darling, hold my hand," and then
Nothing
silently they
beats.
go like, I can't hear it without that anymore.
No, I will not that I listen to that song on the regular to begin with, but I will never be able to listen to that song again without like I mean, you could probably play that song for me 20 years from now and it'll be like awakening a sleeper agent. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Yeah.
Just in my brain. But speaking of holidays, this may not be as good of a connection as I want it to be. Can we talk about the just absolute plane ride Alex Albon went on lap one of the Grand Prix?
Oh my god. Yeah.
My man
Yeah.
went flying. Jumping into the race pretty much right off the bat. Not quite turn run. Got a couple turns in the race. Alex Albon decided to go for just a Sunday drive through the grass. And then caught some air. Um, and then was okay.
It was like nothing really happened.
No, but do you want to know my favorite part about the whole thing is that for the rest of the race, you could see his tracks in the grass. Every
It's just like a
time
little
they showed
reminder.
every time they showed that shot, I just started giggling because it's just he's just mowing the grass.
Reminders of him. It's sweet.
Gosh, I mean like the onboard of it is so funny because you would like you could see where he catches air and then just falls back down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
No,
know. It was so funny. I mean, that
it's just
was
so fun. Like we I think the thing that makes me just so intrigued and also like what the hell is that like he that can happen and it doesn't affect his race aside
uh-huh.
from like driving through the grass, right? But then his car exploded for no reason in
Yeah.
qualifying. And then like there's times that people can have like boom collisions and then they keep going. And then there's times that like they just barely like
Well, I
and then it's
don't
like both races ruined.
I don't know that we can totally say it didn't affect his race. We don't know that the events correlate, but he did have an engine failure later
Yeah.
in the race and
But for
my
a
guy
while,
did not finish that race.
no. But for a while he was like chill.
No, he did all right, but then they brought it he was not going to finish pretty he was not doing well. I mean, he
No.
qualified all right, but he was not doing well. And well, and then okay, so yeah, his power unit fails. Williams uses Mercedes power units. Mercedes has had this is if we're now including Williams in that count, Mercedes has had some power unit issues.
Yeah, I was just thinking about to like one of the previous races with Kimmy, just like driving and then all of a sudden power units
Hit the
like
curb and then the car said, done for the
done for the
day.
day. Well, that's also why the Albon thing surprised me that he drove for what felt like a long time before anything
It was
happened.
most of the race.
Yeah, I'm like, that's something that typically, like, within a few laps of it happening,
Hmm.
would start presenting issues. But, like, for a minute, I thought he was gonna make it the whole way.
Yeah. I mean, I think just with the other things that had happened, I don't think he would have finished in the points anyway, and that's why they brought him in. But still, that was probably the most interesting thing that happened for a little while. Although, I mean, yeah, you said it. He continued for a while. And then the whole pit stop strategy, my guy was not happy.
I have his quote written
He
down.
said, and it was I said literally when he said that out loud, write that down, write that down.
Write that down, write that down.
I don't know why you don't listen to me. It really annoys me.
I know. He's been, like, really. He's the dichotomy of man, right? Like, he's so baby girl
He
outside,
is.
but then in the car, it's like someone, like. It's like he got served cold porridge for
Yes.
breakfast. Like, that man's grumpy.
It's
Not like mad or angry, but he's just grumpy is the only way I can describe
well,
it.
it
It's like
was just like and it because I think it was a couple of races ago when it was like there's something else happening and it's like Alex Albon subplot and it's the meme of SpongeBob in the dungeon. Like, it's you've got all of this on track stuff between Lando and Oscar and Max and this and that, and it's meanwhile Alex Albon subplot, and he's just like going through the ringer.
He is. Oh my goodness. He makes me laugh so hard. Like
I
I
love
don't
him.
think we ever know what to expect with him. But like not
No,
in a it's not like Max Verstappen unpredictable. It's his own version of unpredictable, and it's all relatively safe. If that makes
I I love Alex Albon.
like Alex is gonna be I'm trying to think of a good comparison here. Like if you're like watching a horror movie and things are like going awry, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen next. That's kind of Max, like a slasher film,
Yeah.
and Alex is like a rom com of like, oh my god, wait, what's gonna happen next? Like he's just,
Yeah.
I love
It
him.
just he had himself a time in Canada.
He did. And speaking of tire strategy, Charles also had a moment with his lovely team Ferrari, who is still my team. They're still on my wall there. But yeah, so
I'd follow Ferrari to hell and back, but I sure wish they'd stop going there.
yeah, and so I was watching and they were asking him, or they were saying like, we're thinking plan whatever for your tires, and he was like, no, I'd rather do this strategy, and they're just
Yes.
like, and I remember because the announcers to that said, at this point they just go with it. They're tired of arguing with Charles. Like they're just gonna listen to what he says, and I was like, ha ha, how funny is that? Then they like do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
He goes out and he's like, he says, I don't understand this choice.
Yes.
And they're like, well,
Me
you're not
too.
gonna. He's like, was something about like the medium tires. He's like, I thought the medium was fine. Didn't we like not? Did we not agree on that? Like they
Yes.
simply, it's like he says like, I don't know. It's like, think about like when you're a kid and you're like, hey mom, what's for dinner? And she's like, we're gonna have broccoli. And you're like, I don't want broccoli. Can we have spaghetti instead? And she's like, okay, sure, we can have spaghetti. Yay! Show up to dinner, broccoli.
Right? And it just
Like, and then your mom goes like this to you.
no, for real. And it's, I know that we're no, paid Formula One race engineers, but I agreed with Charles.
Yeah, the mediums are what he's typically fastest on, especially at, like this race with qualifying and stuff. It doesn't.
It just, because it was the thing was, in my opinion, because he started on the hards, or did he start it on the, I don't remember. Whatever he started on, that's what they put on him. I think it was the hards, and they put hards on again. And he wanted
Yeah,
with the mediums. And it was one of those, he thought that he could do the one stop. And you just said it. I think if anybody could have done it, it probably would have been Charles.
Charles is the king of your tires cannot legally do it without
Yes.
your
Yes. And so it's
like it doesn't make sense.
no, it doesn't. And I'm like, frick you, Ferrari. Listen to my driver. And I saw today a clip of him walking back to the garage after the race. My guy was pissed.
I mean, he was in the red suit as like the Le Mans guy. Honestly,
Like he was angry. And honestly, I think he's justified. I mean, I know that the drivers don't necessarily have all the data, but they had left him out long enough. I think
Yeah.
he might have been okay. We'll never know, right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But at that point, when you got a pissed off driver who's mad about the tires, knows he has to stop again, and it's almost like, what's the point?
Right, and it's a Ferrari is just so interesting. Like this season, especially, they've always
Yes.
made questionable choices. Don't get me wrong. We've been on this roller coaster for like 6 years, and we haven't gotten off. We're nauseous. We're throwing up. It's fine. But the Ferrari race engineers at this point, I feel like that meme of Impractical Jokers, where they're like behind the TV and they're like, now ignore him, or like now
And then
now tell him this.
it cuts to them laughing.
Yeah, and they're all like, ugh,
It's it's hard not to feel like that. And I mean, it didn't look like it was gonna be the best of weekends for them. I mean, I think they did okay. I mean, look, both cars finished in the points, which right now a win is a win.
A win is a win. I'm
But
not
it
gonna complain.
just, I mean, and then okay, well let's talk about the other side of our driver's coin. Poor Lewis.
Oh my
My
god.
guy
This
on
one?
lap 13. So, for anyone who doesn't know, the Canadian Grand Prix, it's got groundhogs. This track has to the point where they have their own graphic of like Mr. and Miss Groundhog. Okay. It's happened before where groundhogs don't always survive the weekend.
No.
Well, lap 13, I think it was like towards the beginning of the race. You know, 160, 70 miles per hour Formula One car, itty bitty, large ish groundhog. F1 car wins every time. Well,
Poor Lewis, he's the only vegan
I know.
driver.
And okay, I will say, this is one of those, it's kind of funny, but I feel terrible for Lewis and also poor groundhog. It's one of those
I
like
know.
little mixed emotion things. But in his interview clip, he was like legit real sad about it. And then it came
Yeah.
back where the clip circulating from, I think it was either last year or the year before's Grand Prix, where he was like trying to get the groundhog to come up to it. Like, my guy loves animals. And, you know, to make matters worse, not only does he just obliterate this groundhog, it damages his floor and puts a hole in it.
What, you want to know the saddest thing? What if that groundhog was the same one from last year that was just trying to say hi again?
In the
What if that
arms of an angel.
Oh no.
I mean, and
Oh,
it just, and can we talk, like, that is just the most Ferrari thing that I've ever, like, what do you mean one of my drivers ran over a groundhog and it put a hole in? I mean, it's literally, it's sewer drain in Las Vegas all over again.
that, yeah. And also, there's another thing that Lewis said. I think it was like leading up to this weekend. He's just been having a rough go of it, and
He has.
they he was asking asked the feel of the F1 car like for this year, and this might have been before the season started.
Yeah.
We might have talked about this, but the quote popped up as if it happened this week, and it was like, this car, it's like someone that can't dance, someone that has no rhythm, trying to get someone that doesn't have rhythm to have rhythm. It's very, very difficult. That's how it feels with this car.
That's my team. That's my team right there.
The fact that it's one thing
Yeah.
to be like, yeah, there's like some kinks in the car, but like we're working on it and like figuring it out. Like that is very detailed
Yeah,
and
and it,
not approved by the PR team of Ferrari.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit before. We were so hopeful coming into this season, and I know like a lot could still happen, you never know till it's over kind of thing. But just the fact that they ended the season so well and have started off so poorly.
And especially with like, I mean, spoiler alert, a 1-3 Mercedes finish today, like at this race, and poor Lewis not only like didn't do that, but
It's
he
just
also killed a groundhog.
it's the meme on the bus of the person being sad and the person being happy, and it's like Lewis at Ferrari, and then it's like his old team getting a double podium. And so it just, I know it's early and but still, I mean, I just felt so bad for Lewis because honestly, like he qualified well, but when a groundhog
Yeah.
pricked up the floor of your car, I mean, he was losing however many, I think it was him they were talking about, like he was losing all of this downforce and just this, that, and the other, and it just, RIP, Mr. Groundhog. But like, also, could you imagine being a groundhog and, more or less 51 weeks out of the year, you're just like at this nice, there's a track, there's a lake, there might be Jaws if there's, Alex Albon's there. But then
Yeah.
1 week out of the year, there's just all of these death missiles just, and
And it probably burst their poor eardrums. I think someone commented on the groundhog thing and was like, obviously sad, but like kind of crazy that the groundhog wasn't deterred by the sounds of the F1
Right?
car.
I mean, so, not to blame it on the groundhog, but like stay in your
No,
hole.
we're not
Stay
victim.
stay in your groundhog.
Yeah, we're not victim blaming here. But also like, hey, listen, we're gonna use our eyes, use our ears.
Right. God, I
But
mean,
yeah.
it just so, surprise, surprise, it wasn't Ferrari's weekend again.
Surprise! Yeah. The only thing I have left for the race is the McLaren thing, and then everything that happened after that.
Yeah, I think the only things that really happened before the last 3 laps of chaos, they retired Liam. I think he had an engine problem, and they said, "Well, you're not going to finish in the points anyway. Bye." Lance
Yeah,
got
I
a
remember.
penalty for some dumbass little contact with, I don't even remember who it was, but they gave him a penalty, and it's like, great, he's finishing outside of the points anyway.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is with all of the people that didn't finish the race, that put Lance. Lance finished last at his home race. He was the last place finisher because of that. Like the
I
people that
mean,
went DNF'd, he was P17.
that's hilarious. Also, didn't
Protesters.
Liam have like a 50 place grid penalty?
50?
I think so. I don't know if that was real or not, but I swear I saw something that was making fun of the fact that he was going to have to start in another country because he got some ridiculous grid penalty. I know he started at the back of the grid and he didn't qualify P20.
Let me see.
But
Whoa, wait, no, hold on. Wait, no, this can't be real. Hold on.
so I didn't make that up. This isn't a like Lando being disqualified from the race and that just never being real. This is okay.
Yeah, so Pierre got 20 penalty places, and then Lawson got 50, bringing a total to 70.
Could you imagine getting a
Why?
20 place grid penalty and you don't finish last because somebody else got 50? That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
No, that's crazy. Because why?
That's like unnecessary, I feel
I
like.
know. So people kept joking that he was gonna like start from another country
Yeah,
because what do you mean 50 places?
yeah. No,
But yeah,
that's
no. So granted, we made it sound maybe kind of interesting for those first 67 laps.
yeah.
Well,
But then we have a really fun event. And so it's what's so funny here is that the announcers for this part were talking about like, and I thought this was crazy. So here's a fun little tidbit for you. On my Apple Watch, I got a notification saying the details of Lando and Oscar's little like collision. And I was like, cool. So I know that happens. That's really fun.
ah,
So it was a little bit of a
oh
spoiler.
right, because we were watching it on the delay.
Right. But I was watching when I got home, and the announcers kept saying, like, like, oh my gosh, like, how crazy would it be if Lando hit Oscar? Because how close he's driving. Like, they kept talking about it. And I
Yes.
was like, well, that's why y'all fucking jinxed it. So
No, for real.
he does. And here's where I'm baffled about this. So it's on like the main straight where Lando tries to pass. And if you look at the straight, let's say it is 100 feet wide. I don't
Yep.
think that's accurate, but we're just, for easy numbers, 100 feet wide. And Oscar's at like maybe 5 to 10 feet away from the edge here.
Uh-huh.
So leaving about 80 feet on the other side.
Right.
And Lando goes, I mean, I think the exact wording I wrote down for this, like, there's about 2 feet of room of Oscar, and then there's half an acre on the right of Oscar. And
Yeah.
Lando goes, I'm just different like that. I guess I'm just different like that. And so he tries to go in like the gap that's not even the size of the car and goes off like it goes off the track.
Uh-huh.
And
And
he
even
goes,
even with the space off the track, there was no space for F1 car.
no, no space. And so I was like, hey, So yeah, he boops the back of Oscar. Luckily, Oscar's fine. Lando is
Yeah.
fine. Well, no, he's not fine. I was Lando's fine. He's not. Um, but I have this picture and I saved it for this because it just made me laugh so hard, and it's a perfect explanation of this. So for those that are not, excuse me, goodness gracious, for those that are like listening, I'll just have to post this somewhere. I think we should post this on our page anyways because it's hilarious.
Probably.
But um, think different.
There's just not space.
Like look at the amount of room. That's what's crazy. Is like I'm not exaggerating when I say it's like, huh?
And so yeah, and at first it was like, did he even hit him or did he hit the wall? Because yeah, Oscar was fine, and thank goodness at least one of them was fine. But it just was so funny because it was like so. Sidebar related, promise. When I moved my F1 car, little Lego cars, I wrapped them in bubble wrap and put them in this box, right? Well, when I opened it, the front wing of the McLaren came off. So maybe, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's actually my fault that but anyways,
Sydney, you
it
did.
literally
That's all your fault.
but it looked actually no, it's Nico Rosberg's, but I'll get to that. Um
Okay.
but it literally looked like somebody just like had velcroed the front wing to the car, and it just was like, nope, I'm done.
It's like boop.
Because then the front wing was just chilling in the middle of the track.
Yeah, and then they had to safety car.
Oh, right. So, okay, Nico Rosberg.
Yes.
So, you know how the curse of Nico Rosberg, it's always if he posts the selfie in front of your garage, that driver always DNFs. Okay. Nico Rosberg did not take a selfie in front of Lando's garage. You would think we're safe. Nico Rosberg took a selfie in the almost exact spot that Lando hit Oscar. We thought we were safe because there were no cars. No. And people are like, he can curse the track now? So, actually, no. My Lego debacle was just foreshadowing, confirmed by the curse of Nico Rosberg selfie.
That's so upsetting. Oh, I think one of the
Isn't that
only
crazy?
that's ridiculous. Hold on, I'm like glitching for a sec. Okay, there we go. My camera went out. But one of the things that's just ridiculous. I forgot about the curse of Nico Rosberg, and like
I did too. I
he's
did
like
too.
the boogeyman. But there's oh my gosh, what kind of made me sad. And like, here's the thing: we've had a conversation. I think Lando just gets in his own way.
Mhm.
But one thing I really respected and loved was that immediately, even on track, he was like, "That was my fault."
Yes, he was immediately apologetic.
And after, when they were interviewing Oscar, Lando goes up to him for the first time and is like shakes his hand like, "Hey man, that is 100% me. I'm so sorry." And Oscar's like, "Hey, don't worry about it. I was fine. Like, we're all
Yeah.
good." And that was like just a really great show of sportsmanship between the two of them. Like,
It was.
it was beautiful. Also, speaking of curses, actually, my Oscar Piastri bracelet no longer works. So, for those who don't listen regularly, up until this week, I made this Oscar Piastri bracelet leading up into the season. I made some for my other favorite drivers. I've got a Charles, I've got a Lewis, I've got a Carlos, and I have a Lance Stroll one. That's for Parker. He requested it. And I would like wear this like when the season would start. And only Oscars, because I'm an Oscar fan for sure. And he, every time I wore it, would win and qualify pole. And there was like a couple times I forgot to wear it, and he didn't. And like it happened like one time, and I was like, it's because I didn't wear the bracelet, haha. But then it happened like 2 more times.
Yeah.
Like the only times that he has not won the races this season have been when I did not wear this.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, magic. So I wore it. It finally wore off.
Leave it to George Russell to break the curse. But I will say, for it to have been a double Mercedes podium,
It's pretty good.
worth it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you. So, yeah, honestly, George Russell had himself a great weekend. He put it
did.
on pole. He led almost the entire race. George wins. And then it was Max. And then we got our first Kimi Antonelli regular race podium. I feel and have felt like a proud parent.
I'm so proud of him.
Hip hip
Um,
hooray for Italian Peter Parker.
I know, let's give it up for him. What's so funny is, well, there's a couple things. So I want to go back before, like, when the safety car was going, but before we do that, I'll talk about this. So before George even gets out of the car, his team is on the radio telling him, because he won, George won. His
Yes.
team's like, good job, George, like, you won, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing out of George's mouth is like, congrats, Kimmy, congrats. And I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. And then on the radio, on Kimmy's radio, you hear Toto go, Kimmy Grande. The small Kimmy grows to Grande Kimmy. And it was just so funny.
It was so wholesome because it's like Kimmy, he's done really well, but he has had a handful of just bad luck races. It was so awesome to see him like outright, like no tricks, like get a podium.
He
I'm
did such a good
it
job.
was just it was great. And
Yeah.
like and just the excitement on that podium.
Oh, they
Which,
were like spraying him so hard.
speaking of this podium, you would think post Red Bull gives you rage, girls are fighting George Russell, Max Verstappen show the other week. I'm telling you, this is why, like, I genuinely think an actual World Drivers' Championship battle between between Max Verstappen and George Russell, the world would not survive.
No, we already
Because
are barely fighting for
look
our
at what 2 weeks ago they were at each other's throats. This week, Max was like giddy, spraying champagne at George
in the back of
Russell.
his head. I saw that. He's so different. And then even the difference, not even from 2 weeks ago, but from like 30 minutes prior on track when the safety car's going. So
Oh my
George
god, I
has-
forgot about that.
yeah, okay, let me tell you something. So let me be clear.
Let me tell you something.
Let me be clear. George, and this is, I think George kind of did this on purpose a little bit. He's a little sneaky boy.
Oh, yeah.
They're in safety car and he brakes like really hard, really fast. And Max immediately hops on his radio and goes, George just suddenly aggressively braked, and like Max's team's like, okay, well, look at that. And then what's so funny is, like, looking back and, like, even watching then, I was like, yeah, that's kind of what he did. But I don't think I thought the F1 TV commentators for sure are just on the, like, Max is still, like, in a manic episode.
Yeah.
Because he says that. It's dead silent for a second. And then the announcer goes, it's like the longest pause. He goes, yeah, disregard that. And I was like, hello? And then because of that, because Max, wasn't expecting the sudden break, he kind of
Right.
pulled forward. And George goes, Verstappen just overtook me under the safety car.
I
And
mean, let me tell you, snitches might get stitches, but that does not exist around Max Verstappen and George Russell.
No, and George didn't even get, like, any penalty points or anything for it. It was all
No.
dismissed. And man, it's just funny. Like, even, like, so they go from this to, like, 30 minutes later.
It is like the toxic relation, like the couple that shouldn't be together, but is, and like when it's good, you're like, yes, this is what I live for. And then when it's bad, again, it's, yes, this is what I live. It is, I'm telling you, it's like reality TV, except it is real life.
It's giving, like, for me, it's giving, like, Dramione. Like, they're both, like, kind of obsessed with each other, and they think it's, like, because they hate each other, but, like,
Yeah.
they're obsessed with each other. And
Yes.
then, like, there's times where they're like, wait a minute, like, wait, what?
It
what is
was
this? And then they're like, no, I hate
so
you.
funny.
You've always been the worst.
Somebody posted a picture of the cool down room after, and it was like George and Max sitting kind of close together, and then Kimmy a little further away, and it was like when the divorced parents have to come back for the parent teacher conference, and it just it was so funny.
That's what
And,
it's
like,
like.
it was so true, and just if there's one thing about George Russell that honestly I truly love and adore is how, like some people are super nonchalant. If there's anything George Russell is, it's chalant. Because the joy, I mean, and honestly, I I really love it because it's like every little victory he celebrates, you know, like it's the first time. Every race, I mean, this was only what, his fourth or fifth race win? I
Yeah,
mean,
something.
and just he's giddy. And I love that he hasn't lost that yet.
Oh, he's got like he keeps his childlike joy
Yes. And
with that.
every time, his little jump that he does on the podium after he gets his first place trophy, I
It's so
honestly live
cute.
for it.
It's so sweet. And well, I was thinking that you were like he is anything but chalant, and like it's only his certain race, but he's still excited about it. I'm like that's wholesome. That's
It
really cute.
is.
Like
And we poke a lot of fun at George. And I have grown past my dislike for George after he took Carlos out at the US Grand Prix a couple years ago. But like since then, I think, as I've gotten deeper into the sport, I genuinely I love George Russell.
he is so funny. So there's you love and you hate George. There's like
Yes.
last year with all of the Max drama, everyone hated him, and people honestly still hate on him a lot.
Yeah.
But like this, not only like this season and past season, but this sport would not be what it is if George Russell was not there.
No.
It's like, do you watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives or like the Kardashians or something? It's like none of you bitches would be here without me.
No, for real. And it's like he's a meme. We make fun of him, but because it's one of those we make fun of him because we love him kind of deals.
We do.
And it just he is who he is. He's a diva. I mean, there's a reason he wins Diva of the Day a lot. But
Yeah.
like rightfully so. I love George, and it just is he cracks me up. And and I will somewhat begrudgingly admit it, as much as he kind of beats the dead horse a little bit with the T pose, he unfortunately pulls it off.
It's
And
funny.
no other driver could make that look kind of cool.
I think it's funny because like he started doing it. Like we know that he did it because the F1 PR people
Yeah.
made him do it. Like that wasn't his choice. He wasn't just like I'm gonna look cool doing this, right?
Yeah.
But he does it. He did it a few times after once like he realized that people thought it was hilarious.
He leaned
And
into the meme.
he leaned into it and now it's to the point that it doesn't even feel like a meme anymore. It's like just like
Yes.
he like adopted. He's like this is my signature now.
And the
And
thing
I
is,
love that.
nobody else will ever be able to do that because that's George Russell.
It's like the Tim Tebow pose in football or something. You know,
Yeah,
it's like it's the George Russell.
it's
And
the George Russell T pose. It's
if I'm being
like,
honest, I think Oscar Piastri should be the gritty,
I, you know,
albeit a bad gritty.
let's be so for real. That man is never going to attempt a gritty again.
No, I think he's embarrassed. Which
He,
it's like poor baby. I love Oscar. It's like he tried,
he
and
didn't he didn't know he was going to win.
I think even if the whole world encouraged him, he wouldn't do it again.
No.
I think he burned himself in that sense.
Yeah. But it just honestly those last three laps were kind of I mean, it sucked to end the race on a safety car, but it was enough that those last couple of laps gave it breathed a little bit of life into the race.
It did. And what's funny is I barely noticed this. They kept playing George Russell's radio when he finished, and obviously they're like, "Congrats!" and he was like, "Congrats, Kimmy!" All of that.
Yeah.
And Toto came on George's radio, and they're just like yapping, like being silly with one another. And Toto goes, "Good day, George. Good day." And George goes, good day, sir." Like in like almost a mocking British accent, like
And the
almost.
man's British.
I know, like he emphasized it more. It's like they're trying to be like good day, sir, and I'm like, what? We're getting a lot of lore here today.
Gosh.
What's going on?
And that was the thing. Like the the race itself was not all that eventful, but I really enjoyed this weekend.
I did too. I thought it was fun. I was busy, and so I had to kind of catch up on everything after it happened. So, like, practice, I watched a clip of after. Quali, I watched after the fact, like, just the highlights. And then the
Yeah.
race, I did until, like, 8 p.m. that day, our time, and it was at, like, 2. But it's just so... I think about F1 a lot.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that even when the race, if you take out all of the crazy things that happen, even when it's like a Japan, like a Japanese
Yeah.
Grand Prix, I'm still sat. I'm still waiting on bated breath for all of this. Like, it's just so fun. And, like, I feel like the more, especially with the podcast, like, I have always paid attention in races and stuff,
Yeah.
but now I feel like I'm paying even more attention because I'm like, I need things to talk about for the podcast. And the more I get into it, the more I'm like attached to it. It just, I don't know. It's like, you know how some men make like Detroit Lions or something their personality? Like F1's mine, and I'm
Oh
okay with
yeah. That was at work. So they do this basically a bi-monthly office meeting of just like everybody, kind of updates this, that, or the other. And it just so happened that last Thursday was the bi-monthly meeting. And so I was there for it. And the girl that was leading it, she said we got, a lot of new people. And so it was basically like the interns and me. Well, and then I think there was one other
the
full-time.
interns who aren't people.
They are people. I too was an
Not
intern
what you said.
once.
Not what you said.
But one of it was like, where are you from? What are your inch hobby? Kind of just a couple little introductory things because everybody else knows everybody, but they don't know us. All that jazz. And so when it came to hobbies, I was like reading, being going to concerts, being way too emotionally invested into sports. My, flavors of choice are Formula One and college football, or, because there's a couple others, but like those are kind of the big two, right? And and so it was really fun. I mean, I had already talked to the one guy in my office that we had, we gonna yap about F1. But then it was after that meeting, one of the other girls who adore her. But she came up and she goes, I didn't know, I didn't know this about you or whatever. And she goes, now my office decorations were making sense and whatnot. And then we were talking about the F1 movie. She goes, are you excited about that? I was like, yes, but probably not for the reason that you think. But and it was just fun. And I love F1. And I was sitting there and we were watching one of the College World Series baseball games Saturday night. And in the corner of it, it had the, Pirelli Canadian Grand Prix at 12:30 East, whatever time. And it was one of those, I'm like, how many times did I sit there watching, watching sports growing up, this, that, and the other, and just never paid attention to that little Formula One like tag at the bottom of the screen. And then it's like, now that I know it exists, I'm like, how did I not find out about it sooner?
Same. That's how I was. Like,
It
I think Parker's dad is the
consumes
one.
my life, and I'm
Yeah.
not even a little bit mad about it.
No, it's so nice. Like, I feel like when I was in high school, I had like my NFL football team that I
Yeah.
loved. In college, I had my college team that I loved, and then after, I was like, I don't know, like I don't feel like as much as I still love Baylor and I still love college football and things
Yeah.
like that. I don't feel a particular like pull towards it when I'm not there in. Like I went to, you
Fair.
were with me. We went to the Baylor game this past November, and oh my gosh, it was like the spirit of like Baylor was in me. I was like, oh my god,
Can confirm.
it was so fun. It's like I was reinvigorated, but
Yeah.
it's not something that I really watch at home and get super excited about. It's more like that was an awesome part and I think
Yeah.
it's so fun, but I'm not like I don't know the players' names. I don't know who's getting traded to who, whatever, I say
Right.
trade college football. But with F1, this is the first one that has not only like piqued my interest like a lot to the point that I want to know all this information, but so long term. It kind of reminds me, honestly, in a sense of like, I was talking to Parker about this yesterday, like psychology. I have tried and explored so many avenues of career paths and things that like I'm interested in and study things, whatever, like fields of study. And all of them, like after a certain point, like I'm like, yeah, I love this, but like the passion's just not there. And with psychology and F1, these are the only two things. Like the more I learn about them the more I immerse myself, and even like the
Yes.
parts that are like not so fun, like I had to educate myself on a lot of stuff with Formula One that was kind of
Yeah.
annoying to do because I was like, I just want to watch the race, but I also really need to know these things.
Right.
I'm like, I love it even more, and it just like keeps reaffirming it. And then especially when it's a whole nother thing when you have someone to talk about it with, though.
Yes.
So I have you, Sydney. I have you, and then Parker is like not as into it as I am, but he's pretty up to date, but not as niche of the memes and stuff as we are.
Yeah.
But it's just so nice to like share interests and hobbies.
It sure is. It
It's so,
sure
so
is.
captivating. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was for not the most eventful race in the world. It was a solid race weekend.
It was. It was fun. It. I think there's going to be even more good ones. There's probably going to be another one or two that are not as exciting.
Probably. We'll still
But that's
find stuff to talk about. That is
still fun.
that is not a problem when it comes to the two of us. Is finding
That's
something to yap about.
I think with like Japan, we mostly talked about things that were not the race. Like maybe somewhat Formula One related, but I feel like I remember us talking about things that were not.
We
even
talked
the
about San Antonio for like half that episode because it was the Final Four weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, I mean, like it was good. We've got what, a week off, and then I think it's Austria.
It's funny that you say a week off. Like, it's a week off for them, but not for us.
No, it's not.
I think that all the time. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, like a week off and then Austria. And I'm like, it's not a week off. It's like I'm forced to take a vacation. I don't want to take it.
Right?
Keep driving. You're
I
getting paid
know.
like tens of millions
Well,
of dollars a year.
I'm sure we'll have something to talk because tonight half of them are at the F1 movie premiere in New York.
I need that popcorn bucket. I need that helmet popcorn bucket. I'm gonna go multiple times and get a couple of them and paint them.
Did I send you the picture of the toothless cup that I bought at the How to Train Your Dragon premiere last week?
No.
I love having adult money. I'll send it to you.
Send me a picture.
Yeah, I went and saw the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which phenomenal.
I saw
That
the
is
story.
what a live action remake of an animated movie should be. Because it was quite literally, it was like shot for shot, and anything that they added, it elevated it.
Good.
It was one of those, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and I still was just sitting there in awe of this movie.
It's not like
Phenomenal.
It's not like he gave Toothless to the Dragon Custody Services and then moved to America
No.
to get a degree like Lilo and
Was
Stitch.
incredible. And just like you got more character development and just anyways, I digress. Not Formula One related, but you talked about the cup or the popcorn bucket. It made me think of the cup. It's adorable. It was, I think, like $15, and I'm not even a little bit mad about it.
I mean, that's kind of a good price. So
Right? And I
when you have adult money, that's
yeah, it was phenomenal. Anyways, but yeah, no, it was good little weekend.
good weekend. And then for Austria, we will be back in our virtual, whatever this is, our virtual podcast.
Our new norm? Yeah.
I'm not okay with that, but it's fine. We will probably have worked out the kinks a little bit better by then. So thank y'all for being patient with us. And
Bear
sticking
with us. We are two not technology gals.
It's
So
funny I'm in tech sales. Like I should know this.
I play with water for a living.
You know, water and technology don't mix. So
Can confirm they do not. Although my phone did survive.
it did. That was oh man.
Long live Miami pool party 2025.
Long live Miami. My goodness.
But yeah.
Thanks for joining. Well, I guess I don't think we can say it at the same time, can we? Because the sync is off.
Oh, we can try.
I can say it's lights out, and you can say it's away we go.
Yeah, that way it's not like it's a lights out, and it's away we go, and away go.
That was a perfect demonstration of that. Thank you.
I got you.
But thank y'all for watching. We will see you next time in Austria, and that's Max's home race, right? No. Yes. Because
No, the Netherlands, the Dutch Grand Prix is his.
Dutch. That's what I was like. I know that's the Netherlands, but I was like, for some reason Austria and Dutch were like getting in my head mixed up.
Europe.
It's Europe, okay?
Europe.
Oh, something that our viewers do need to know: we are officially going to Madrid in September.
We decided.
26th. Speaking of, I need to book the B&B because
Yes.
those prices are gonna go up. I might do that after this. Yeah, our first one canceled on us. It was really cool.
It's sad.
But
Anyways.
see you for the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm Hannah,
I'm Sydney.
and it's lights out.
And away we go.
This is not the same. I hate it.
Anyways, bye.
I'm gonna include a petition at the end of this to bring Sydney back to San Antonio. Okay. Bye.
Bye.